When did this start?
Heather's confirmation.
There's something in the attic. Dad, there's an evil here. Something I've felt before.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2025 horror sequel, The Conjuring, Last Rites. The film is directed by Michael Chavez and it stars Vera Farmiga, Patrick Wilson, Ben Hardy and Mia Tomlinson. Now the film is set in 1986. It's obviously following on from the three hugely successful Conjuring films. The last one being in 2021, I think. Now, the last one wasn't particularly well received, even though I personally quite liked it. But I have been hotly anticipating this. I'm a big fan of the Conjuring films. So, as I said, it's set in 1986. There is a family that has, unfortunately, bought a haunted mirror. And this haunted mirror basically runs havoc in this household. They start seeing things, feeling things, getting hurt, and they reach out for help. Now, this mirror also has a history with the Warrens. It was part of one of the first cases they ever did. She was heavily pregnant at the time. She nearly lost the baby, so they kind of ran away from that case because they were scared, basically, at that point in their careers. But this mirror is back, and the spirit haunting this mirror is back. And not only does it want the Warrens, it definitely wants their daughter Judy, who is now fully grown up and is planning on getting married herself. The Warrens are certainly hesitant to get involved, and that's because of the medical condition of Ed Warren from the last film when he had the heart attack. So they're certainly not interested in at the start, but Judy is drawn to this location, so they end up having to get involved whether they like it or not. Right, what are my thoughts on The Conjuring Last Rites? Well, as I said, I've been massively excited to watch this film. I'm a big fan of the Conjuring films. I think they are excellently done, all of them. You know, highly polished, well written, good genuine scares, and I just think they are a really good example of horror, big budget horror films on the cinema that are kind of made to please. You know, they're not just cheaply put together or with cheap scares in them. You know, they're really, really nicely crafted horror films. I like some of the other Conjuring films, you know, like some of the Annabelle films, all that kind of stuff. I think they've done pretty well with these films. So definitely I've been looking forward to this for a long time, and after watching it, I have to say I think this is a really very good finale to the series, because all reports are pointing towards this being the last Conjuring films. Certainly the last Conjuring film with the Warrens. There may well be other Conjuring films that come out, certainly within that Conjuring universe, as they call it. But I think it goes out on a high. I think this is better than the last one, even though I quite enjoyed the last one. I think this is nicely crafted. It's got some genuinely creepy moments in here. My only issue really with this film, well, it's twofold. The pacing of the film at the beginning is a little bit slow after a fine start to the film, and then a fine introduction to this family who's got this haunted mirror. And then it kind of slows down a little bit. Now, some of the stuff that slowed down, I think, is fine. You know what I mean? It's the last time we're going to see the Warrens on the big screen, certainly in these films. And, you know, I think they're trying to let the characters breathe a little. We're being introduced to Judy, who's fully grown up now, and how her life has changed, and she's getting married, and all this kind of stuff. But it does definitely slow the film down. And then the end of the film, I think it feels rushed. In the other Conjuring films, they are investigating for a lengthy amount of time, or they're part of the family's lives for a lengthy amount of time. The first film, You know, they're there for, I don't know whether you would call it months, but it certainly feels like weeks. Same with the second one. And the third one, again, it's a full-on investigation. There's a court proceeding going on, all this kind of stuff. Whereas this one, they just go there, and I'm sure I watched it right in a sense of all this happens in one night. It all kicks off in one night, and it just feels rushed. It feels like they've really tried to tell this story of this mirror's got unfinished business with the Warrens and unfinished business with Judy. And, you know, it pulls all those strings and points you in all the right directions. And then when you get to the ending, it's just kind of like, oh, this is happening. Oh, God, this is happening now. Oh, God, he's falling down the stairs. Oh, this is happening. And it feels like in there somewhere is the answers, but it just feels all a bit messy. Whereas all the other films, I think the conclusions of the films were definitely frightening and scary and all this kind of stuff, but they also felt paced in the right way for you to kind of absorb everything that was happening. This almost had a found footage-esque style to the ending. It wasn't filmed in found footage, but what I mean is just felt chaotic, absolutely chaotic. You know, there's the sections in it where Ed may or may not be having another heart attack. You know, the scenes in it where Judy is possessed. Then there's the scenes with some ghosty thing walking around trying to chop at people. The scenes with this mirror collapsing on. I mean, it's just madness. And I just found that all a bit frantic for me personally. And then it all slows it right down right at the end, and it finishes on a high. In a way that we can really enjoy and appreciate a satisfying end to these characters that we've got to know over this last decade, I want to say, maybe a little bit longer. But it's a strong end to the franchise for sure. It doesn't feel like any of the scares are overly forced, apart from maybe, like I say, the end. It just feels too much has been packed into that bit at the end, and it kind of lost, I think, what it was going for. But I had a good time with this. There are some moments in this that will definitely freak you out. I mean, and I do think as well the beginning of the film is one of the strongest in the series, because we meet the Warrens, like I say, when they're 20, 25 years earlier, when Judy, obviously when she's heavily pregnant with Judy, and it's different actors playing them, but they do so well that it just really, really works. But the whole case with the mirror, and then the fact that she's rushed to hospital because, you know, she needs to have that baby now, even though it's early, and it's all connected to this mirror. And then there's when she's in the hospital trying to have the baby, and there's some creepy stuff going off. That it freaked me out a little bit, some of the stuff in there. But I thought it was a very, very strong opening to the film. And while I'm not saying the end was poor, I just felt it was frantic and there was too much going on, and I didn't know where to put my eyes, sort of thing. There was that much going on. It was almost, like I say, too much. That's my only minor criticism, really, is the end of the film felt rushed. And the pacing of the film at the beginning was, you know, even for me, and I don't mind slow-paced films, even for me at times it felt like it was slowed a little bit too much. I think they built it up a little bit too much. But yeah, I think, like I say, strong end to the franchise. Very happy with it. Only some minor complaints with it, really. But I think if you are a fan of the Conjuring franchise, I think you're going to enjoy this one. I do really enjoy the Conjuring films. I think Patrick Wilson and Verma Farmiga have just got great chemistry, and they bring a lot to these characters. And regardless of what you think about the Warrens in real life, a lot of people think they were hoaxes and all this kind of stuff. I think what these films have done, and what Patrick Wilson and Verma Farmiga has done, is done a really respectful performance of these two people, you know, who did a lot for a lot of families. And, you know, and like I say, whether you believe in the supernatural or not, or believe in what the Warrens did or not, they were still nice people that probably tried to help a lot of people. So, yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this review. Head out and watch The Conjuring Last Rites. Let me know what you think in the comments if you've already seen it, and I will, of course, be back with plenty more content on the channel very, very soon.